The Rolling Stone has come out with a scathing editorial titled, "Why It's Time to Repeal the Second Amendment." It was written by a constitutional law professor, David Cohen, who in an op-ed said the Second Amendment was, quote, outdated and that our founding fathers got it wrong. He also called it a threat to liberty and a suicide pact. With me now, angrily sitting next to me, is Sirius XM radio host David Webb. I mean, all right. As you just said in the commercial break, it's all about selling newspapers and magazines and everything.
The Second Amendment's going nowhere. This is not a constitutional law professor. This is a guy with an agenda.
Right.
Maybe a title he holds and a degree. The fact is that Second Amendment's going nowhere. Rolling Stone's playing to their base. The magazine is basically irrelevant even in the music industry today.
But, you know, we have Donald Trump now saying, I'm going to meet with the NRA. They've endorsed me. But what about talking about, hey, you know, you're on a no-fly list, then you can't buy. No fly, no buy. Is Donald Trump compromising a bit on gun control?
I don't think he is. I think he's not stating it correctly either. And I don't know what he meant, but I will tell you what happened. This young man, this terrorist, got off the watch list, at which point the FBI would not be notified when he went to buy those weapons. The store owner or the process isn't the problem. He was clear for the background check. Yeah. The fact that he came off the investigation with so many ties to a known terrorist triggers that should have been, paid attention to. His statements, think of Nidal Hassan at Fort Hood. Yes. Statements clearly saying what he intends to do, his belief system, this terrorist. There's a problem here, and it's weird, and it needs to be addressed in our process.
But there was also a suggestion from James Comey, the head of the FBI, that Islamophobia came into the investigation because when this individual was questioned by the FBI, he said he felt he was being marginalized because of his faith. At that point, the FBI investigators said, oh, I don't want to get involved.
Well, if you look at, and this is accurate reporting by many over the years, the FBI has had to scrub training materials, documents, very careful about talking about radical Islam, Muslim terrorism because of this administration. And this leads to the problem with Loretta Lynch coming into this. While it is under the Attorney General and the FBI to deal with this issue, if they turn it into the political ideology of the Obama administration, they do a disservice to the security of this country. And frankly, yes, you claim Islamophobia. They say it. The radicals say it. We will use your laws and your freedoms against you.
But because of political correctness, everyone backs off.
And people die. Let's call it what it is. People die because of political correctness and because of this administration's unwillingness to deal with the issue head on. It's not about calling it one thing or the other. It's about dealing with it effectively.
Do you think we've flogged that to death, the whole he refuses the president to call it Islamic terror? Do you think the point's been made?
I think the point was made. I think the Republicans also need to advance a narrative. It's not just about calling it what it is, because ISIS doesn't care. Terrorists don't care what you call them.
No,
they know what they are.
Shoot guns.
They're terrorized. One, one's a recruiting tool for the other. This statement's a recruiting tool. It's all BS. They don't care. They're committed to their cause. They will use drones by the logic. If you call them this, they'll use it as a recruiting tool, or Donald Trump is a recruiting tool. Don't you think drone strikes against their leaders is a big recruiting tool? You kill one and they say, let's go get back at the evil Satan. So this is ridiculous, but let's deal with it in what needs to be done. If we're going to tackle this issue, we've got a federal issue as far as protecting the homeland, but we've got to localize and improve the localization of our security. We've got to make sure fusion centers, FBI, and the process and our laws are updated while protecting our constitutional rights.
Great stuff. We'll have to leave it there. David Webb, thank you so much. Appreciate it, you being here.